And here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Online. Let's get this party started, shall we? Right. Where are we? We're somewhere. We're here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Online. For those who haven't subscribed already, please do hit the subscribe button if you like what we're talking about. For those who have subscribed already, please do check out the bell, the notification bell in the corner. Very important when you hit the subscribe button. Okay, so let's make sure you all can hear me before I go any further. I'm sure you can. Let me check. Yeah, you can hear me. Great. Okay, so lots of things to talk about. What I'm doing this video on, or this show tonight, is going to be basically talking about a review of 3 fights over the weekend. Which, in my opinion, was a very painful weekend to watch. And I'll explain why. So we'll start first and foremost with how the painful weekend began. Well, you know how it began. Well, yeah, how it began. But I thought I'll just start here first. Yeah, that's a good start. Right there. MVP, Michael Venom Page. We'll see him a few times on Dave under Haymaker Promotions. He was going to be doing big things in boxing. Unfortunately, made one mistake and bang, knocked out. You know, confident guy, does his thing, but made one mistake and basically somebody else capitalized on it. A lot of people, particularly in the UK, are laughing at Michael Venom Page because of all the cocky stuff. But when you use that, when you fight with that sort of style, there's a possibility you will get caught, and people are watching you fight over and over and over again. And if you're doing the same tricks over and over and over again, people get to know, okay, this is what he does here, this is what he does here, this is what he does here. Right. This guy was smart. You know, he was cagey, knew what he was doing. I don't know much about the guy's record, but Michael Page had a lot of respect for him. Maybe he said that he got cocky and he made a mistake. It was a bit stupid. Well, you know, this is what happens. So yeah, and that's, well, we'll move on because it was that Michael V Page. But this gentleman here, I want to talk a little bit about. Jordan Gill. Well, where do I start with this? I don't want to knock any young man's career, and that's not what I'm here to do. And I don't really blame the young man as such. He had a fight recently, and fought Friday night, was it, on that Next Gen show? I'm not a big fan of Next Gen, to be honest. In fact, I don't know if I've even sat down and watched one Next Gen show yet, to be honest. Trying to find the next fighter that's going to become their pay-per-view star. I'm not so sure if Matchroom is the place to be trying to become a pay-per-view star. I'm not sure. And I'll talk about it maybe another time. And that's not I'll have to explain that. I'm not sure if they know how to build a pay-per-view star. Oh, Anthony Joshua. Well, Joshua came with a package in itself. If you can't promote Olympic gold medalist, you've got a problem. So being an Olympic gold medalist and a heavyweight and Olympic gold medals, that's landing on your doorstep. A guy who's not Olympic gold medalist, when you look at Anthony Yard, he's not with Matchroom, and he's doing a darn sight better than a lot of guys who have got better amateur records than him. He's doing a darn sight better in terms of his career, and doing a darn sight better in terms of money he's making, and doing a darn sight better in terms of management and promotion. So anyway, so there's an example there. So Jordan Gill. So the story is, according to Dave Colwell at the end of the interview, and again, I'm saying here, I'm not going to apologize, but at the same time, I'm not going to hold my tongue. I'm not offending. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm not going to sit down and say Dave Colwell's a terrible trainer. Well, I'm not doing that because I'm not a boxing trainer myself. But what I will say is this: every trainer goes through having losses. Freddie Roach, I remember one year had about 4 or 5 of his guys get knocked out back to back to back to back. you know, Dave Cole he does what he does, and he's obviously being celebrated for what he does. And Matchroom keeps sending fighters over to him, or he seems to get fighters, so he must be doing something right. So, you know, might just be he's in a position to capitalize on that. But whether it's that or something else, I don't know, and it's none of my business. But I can only judge him from what I see. And from what I see, it was the first time I watched Jordan Gill fight. And do you know why I wanted to see Jordan Gill fight? Was because they kept promoting this guy, Jordan Gill, Jordan Gill. Every time I'm watching Sky and a boxing, this guy Jordan Gill's face turns up. They're showing this guy's face everywhere. Jordan Gill, Jordan Gill, Jordan. So can this guy actually fight? So tune in to watch him fight now. And from the first round, I'm looking at this guy going, nah, this is what they're talking about. No disrespect to the young man now. He's got his left hand way low. He's got right hand. His chin is open. He's got right hand to get clocked over the top. I thought, well, unless his reflexes are very good, or he's a devastating puncher where he's got that left hand low and he's trying to bring someone onto the right hand. Unless he's a real big puncher, why has he got that left hand? I don't even subscribed, or the word, I don't even believe that it's right that a fighter. Let me bring my camera back up now so I can explain what I'm doing. Let me bring myself back up on the camera so I can explain. Where are we? Come on, where are we? Where's the camera? Right, yeah. So I'm talking about Jordan Gill. He's coming out his left hand. He's down here almost, right? And all here on this side, down the right hand side here, it's open. All from here to there, it's all open. So I'm thinking, unless he's got a right hand, he's trying to, you know, open the guy up and let that rocket right hand go. I'm myself, that's very dangerous. It's dangerous anyway, but at least if you like, hey, you used to have very good reflexes, able to do that and draw you onto a right hand. So I wanted to see first time watching Jordan Gill. So the first round, watching him come out and going, nah, they don't look right. They don't missing me. They don't look right. This don't look like a guy they're talking about. These Jordan Gill this, Jordan Gill that. Now I know they're trying to sell a guy to make him into be a next pay-per-view star. I get that. I get the idea behind it. And you know, the Sky Sports machine, PR machine, or the promotional seat machine's great for that. However, I watched this guy in the first round, and the guy is fighting tucked up very nicely. I'm watching him, ooh, these guys look tasty, look tricky, look tasty. Throwing his own punches. Seeing Gill getting cracked with a right hand over top, saying, listen, it's like looking good. And then he gets dropped by a body shot. And basically, the guy was doing a number on Gill. Gill was, you know, he's fighting a lot of heart and stuff. But the guy looked too good for him. For me, he looked too good. And then I listened to the end of the interview with Dave Cole, when he said, well, you know, he had food poisoning on the day. But whether he had food poisoning or not, that guy was too much for him. And he was saying, well, the trainer was saying, you know, Dave Cole said, you know, the fights he had beforehand, if you look at them, they were nothing. But, you know, in the cold light of day, there are a lot of fighters that don't fight great guys when they start out their careers, that they're building their careers because, you know, they're getting used to being under the lights, being under pressure and all the rest of it. And the common thing to say afterwards is, you know, he's a young fighter, he can come back. But that's not everybody. Not everybody can come back from a defeat. Some defeats, like that fight there, I mean, if it is food poisoning, I don't know. The fact that he didn't feel the confidence to go and talk to his trainer about it, and he felt, well, he was going to get more stick from the fans. He got stick from the fans anyway, and he could have got himself seriously hurt. So it's a long way back for the young man. I'm not so sure if Matchroom can actually build pay-per-view stars. I'm not so sure. I'm not sure. I know they know how to shortcut a fighter's career, i.e. Kell Brook. Look at Kell Brook's career. Perfect example of Kell Brook. How his career was up and building and building and building. Yeah, he had his nights where he fought Frankie Gavin and all the rest of it. But he had the Sean Porter fight. And then all of a sudden, you got to the point in the next, before you know it, that was their next star. And they chuck him with Golovkin. So what comes first more? Building pay-per-view stars or feeding the real stars, these guys, as cannon fodder? Are you building fighters or are you building cannon fodder? Because it seems to me, for the most part, you're building cannon fodder. You're building fighters destined to fail. Because it seems anytime these guys get half the match decent, they get knocked out. So are you bringing them up too softly? Is your matchmaking questionable? I don't know. But the whole Jordan Gill thing is quite a sad thing for me. It really is. Because you've put him on that platter. You see his face everywhere. Now, I don't know if the pressure was getting to the young man. I don't know. I know his food poisoning can cover up things, but I really don't know. So I'm not sure. I wish Jordan Gill nothing but the best in his return. But because he's young, they say he can always come back. I don't think so. A loss like that can be devastating to a fighter, and he may not come back. And he's lost here because he had the food poisoning, and he was more worried about social media and what other people thought than his own health. So he could have gone out there, if it's the case, it was the food poisoning, and it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse. And guess what? He's going to have to come back and redeem himself. And way you redeem yourself is to come back and fight that guy again. And I don't know if Gill is good enough to beat that guy. I'm not so sure. Even his trainer said, but I want to see him in tough fights. But why do you want to see him in tough fights? He's a young lad. Why do you want to see him in tough fights? Well, because there must be pressure to produce. I'm guessing. I don't know. And I'm not saying this is the truth. I'm just saying that there must be some form of some sort of pressure to produce the next champion. You know, so is that what it is? Is there a pressure that the trainer, and I don't know. So I'm kind of leaning on the side of maybe sympathizing for the trainer as well. Are they trying to find the next superstar, the next star to fill the Sky Sports Matchroom platform? Because who have they got? Well, they've got DAZN. That's different. But for Matchroom itself, how many pay-per-view stars do they have? And, you know, you look at all the guys that have been beaten recently. Cheeseman, Fowler, Gill. Now, before you know it, a lot of the guys are going to be beaten and they're going to have no stars. I see a Coley switch from one trainer to another trainer. And now he's with the McGuigans. This is kind of roundabout. Why is it the same trainers being used all the time? The same train, the same roundabouts all the time. And I don't know. I don't know. These trainers, again, nothing against them personally. I try and ask this from I'm asking a question as opposed to being disrespectful. I'm going to be careful when I say what I'm saying here because I respect everybody in what they do. Now, when you're looking at trainers, I always say to myself, what have you done for me lately? Well, okay. And at the highest level, what is their record? How many times that their fighters go up against other world rank fighters do they come out successful? You know, that's the thing to start looking at. What do their fighters look like? How are their fighters getting beat? Are their fighters getting narrowly beaten? Are their fighters getting pulverized, knocked out? Do their fighters look at are their fighters defensive first, or do their fighters fight with their face? What sort of things what does these trainers bring to the table for them? Like Adam Booth, we know the Adam Booth style. It's one that's a lot of movement, herky-jerky movement, in and out. But when it came down to it for David Haye to fight Klitschko, and we talk about game plans, what was the game plan for Haye in the biggest fight of his career against Klitschko? There's just different things we can talk about. Oh, well, the toe. All right, fine. But even if the toe wasn't an issue, there's still things. Just like, again, I'm not having a go at Adam Booth. The strategy that he gave Andy Lee to fight against Billy Joe Saunders. He allowed Billy Joe Saunders to fight nice for the first 6 rounds of the fight when they should have put the pressure on Billy Joe. They didn't do that. They let Andy Lee try and box with Billy Joe, and Billy Joe being the far superior boxer, Andy Lee being the far superior puncher. I remember again, what's this guy? The Cuban heavyweight that Booth was training. And then we have the situation even with Shane McGuigan when we had Carl Frampton fighting Luis Santa Cruz in a rematch. So I just ask questions. When we talk about these trainers, I mean, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about names and personalities, or are we actually talking about products? We talk about Adam Booth. We talk about David Haye, explosive puncher. We talk about George Groves, explosive puncher. We talk about Josh Kelly. I don't think Josh Kelly's an explosive puncher. And by what I saw in his last fight, he's an accident waiting to happen. You heard me say it here. I'm not going to butter it up because he's getting tagged now against guys that are not great. And he's not knocking him out. And he's still getting tagged. So what happens is when he fights the top welterweights in the world and they hit him with shots and they will nail him, what does he do then? It's a different situation altogether. Do you get me? So I'm just talking about Jordan Gill's situation. I just how you bringing him back? You're going to bring him back. How you bring him back? Are you going to bring him back with soft fighters? Who's doing the matchmaking? And what was your end result? Because after Jordan Gill had fought this guy, he fought 5 times last year or something like they were saying. After he got past this guy, what was next for him? I saw he had a fight against Ryan Walsh that was being lined up, a seasoned veteran, another dangerous fight. I don't know. But I saw this video of him and Cribbs. Was it Cribbs? Where they were going around looking at where he that stuff needs to stop. Me personally, it needs to stop. You want to build the guy's thing, well, at least find out if the guy can actually fight to a level where you can actually sell him. You're selling Jordan Gill, and I'm not disrespecting Jordan Gill here. I'm just saying that that's extra pressure on a guy that his human trainer saying he hadn't fought enough quality opposition. That's basically what his trainer's doing. So then you're putting a spotlight on a guy who hasn't even had enough decent fights, and then now it's pressure on the young man. He's Sky Sports are following everywhere you look. It's Jordan Gill, Jordan Gill, Jordan Gill, and then he has his own fight he has to fight now, and stuff like this can be devastating to a young fighter. So not every young fighter has the guts and the balls and the determination to come back. And the fact that he was prepared to put his own life on the line, if this is the story, because of the diarrhea, because he was scared of letting people down on social media, people he hadn't met, because he was ill. But if those people are giving him crap, they're not the kind of people you want as friends and supporters anyway. They never were supporters. So my son, Jordan Gill, all I say to you is this. Come back. Level-headed, just come back. You suffered a loss. One loss does not make you a bum. And one loss, if it's diarrhea, the issues are genuinely diarrhea, and they're not covering up something else that you're not very that good a fighter, and they've discovered finally you're not a good fighter, and they're using it so they can recycle you later on because you're really not that great a fighter, but they've invested in you and they've got to get that money back. But rather than say that you actually not that good a fighter and you've been exposed, you turn around and say you got diarrhea, so we can bring you back again and recycle you a few more fights, doing a few more shows. I don't know what it is. If it is food poisoning, great. Then get yourself back in the gym when you're fully recovered, and just look to tighten yourself up, tighten up that defense. And if you don't believe you can share with your trainer, if your trainer's known you for all these years, and you can't tell your trainer, look, I got the shits and I can't fight tonight. I don't know what your relationship is with your trainer, and I don't know if that would even fly. I don't know, because I don't have that relationship. But if you can't talk to your trainer and tell your trainer, look, I got the shits tonight, and I can't fight tonight. I genuinely got the shits. I'm sick. Then you know what? I would like to know if Jordan Gill had won that fight, whether he would have turned around and said, I had food poisoning beforehand. That's what I'd like to have known. It's very interesting. You don't know. You don't know. Unless you're part of the camp, you don't know. So I've known people have made excuses. I'm not saying Jordan Gill's made excuse or Dave Colwell, but I've heard the excuses before that found out to be excuses. And also to the point, Dave Colwell, the way for me, the thing that made me feel slightly unsettled is when he was talking after the event. He was talking to doing it. He went, "Oh, well, the fight is the year before nothing." I mean, that is very I don't know. It's just, for me, I feel very uncomfortable. If my trainer was saying I'd fought nothing, that's 16 fights, 18 fights, fought nothing. 16, 18 fights, that meant something, because that's me gaining experience. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me and I'm just being hypercritical. I don't know. But it's just my thoughts on it all. So, okay, so we just talked about that. Let us talk about the next thing. I think we're going to talk about, oh boy. It was just a painful weekend. Well, let's see what else was on the agenda we can talk about. Yes. Well, Isaac Dogboe. Neho. Where do I begin with this? Yep, I bit my tongue long enough. I'm going to talk about it. Where do we begin? As you know, Isaac Dogboe was on BWTM Sports. He was there when not really people talking about Isaac Dogboe. Remember those days? Nobody knew who Isaac Dogboe was, really, that much. And he was on BWTM. We had him a few times. Him and his dad seemed a great double act. And, he retyped with his dad. And when I met his dad, I didn't realize that was his dad. His dad, real young man. And, could see he wants to look after Isaac's career and look after him. Met them, did the interview with them. But something changed. And we'll talk about it. So, you become WBO featherweight champion of the world. Fantastic performance out in America. Physical strength. I mean, even got knocked down in that fight. Physical strength, able to use that physical strength. Isaac Dogboe is a very, very, very muscular young man. Very muscular. And, I mean, I've looked at his guns. I mean, his guns, he looked like a welterweight when I met him. He was out, rocked like a welterweight, the way his body structure was. So, for me, this guy is thick built. I mean, solid. And he got through the first fight, but I'm looking at this guy, I'm thinking, you are going to struggle with weight. Welterweight, featherweight, and you're short at featherweight. And then I saw the first time he boxed the guy, right? And the guy showed a jab. I don't know if they've watched tape or this. And I spoke at length about my thoughts about the first fight. Now, I was there in front of Bob Arum. I was at the Carl Crawford presser. And I saw Isaac Dogboe there. And I came up, talked. I said, "Hey, listen, what's going on, Isaac?" And yeah, it's cool, right? Real kind of distant behavior. And I'm like, I want to find out what's going on. So I'm sitting there, and I asked Bob in the interview. I said, "Bob, so what's the situation with Isaac Dogboe? We're going to see him fight in England." He goes, "Well, Isaac's going to have to fight that guy again. They beat him for the title. He'll have to get the title back." And then I thought, oh, shit. At that point there, I was going, oh, shit. And then when I was talking to Isaac doing the interview, he was like, he had some weight problems before, and y'all got a dietitian on board now. And I'm like, nah, bro, that ain't enough. That is not going to be enough. That is not the way he got beat the first fight. I would never have said go back and have an immediate rematch with that guy. No way. I mean, it wasn't just the weight that was an issue. It was actually boxing, technical skills. When you get to the highest level of boxing, right? And because he's Mexican, he's going to charge for this guy is much. You're 5'3". The guy looks about 5'8", 5'9". I didn't look at the fight, but I saw the highlights afterwards. Guy had long arms, good jab, good right hand, good pivot, good fundamental boxing skills. This wasn't a guy who's going to run over and throw a right hand and knock over. That prehistoric, almost caveman-like sort of approach deserves a beating. I'm sorry. You can't, in boxing, you can't cut corners. And if you try one way, fight one way, particularly when you got a guy, you've got to be very good. If you're going to be 5'3" and effective, you're going to be very good. Your footwork has to be a lot faster. You got to close the range down real quickly, and you got to make sure you can get on the inside and do your work. You know, you were going to get our box from the outside. You knew that from the first fight, going into the second fight. Now, I don't know what contractually Dogboe was if he had to take that rematch or not, or he had to take that rematch in order to be able to continue working but top rank. I don't know. But that fight right there, the first fight was a beating. The second fight was a spirit breaker. And he's talking about moving up in weight. To do what? You're only going to get harder, get hit harder moving up in weight. There has to be some significant changes in Dogboe's approach. Because that right there, people got the blueprint on how to beat you now. They've got the blueprint on how to beat you. And there was no... There were moments, let me get something straight here when I saw that fight. There were moments where Dogboe looked decent, where he was able to catch the guy, Naverette. He was able to catch Naverette and throw some good punches in exchange. But in all the times, even when he did catch him with good shots, the champion was able to stay composed, box behind his jab, and stick to a game plan. What exactly was Dogboe's game plan? What was the game plan? I mean, there was very little head movement. He was at the end of a jab all the time. There was, you know, I would like to see him cross-arm defense. Don't use the cross-arm defense when you've taken a pummeling. Cross-arm defense, slip, move. You use your head. Do something different. But you're walking in straight lines, walking back in straight lines, moving forward in straight lines, and doing the same thing round after round after round. Round after round after round. You weren't knocking the guy at brute strength. You missed big winging shots. No point. You judge, get inside, make him slip the jab and slip inside. Slip the jab, slip inside. You know, close the range, walk quickly. Who were they using as sparring partners? Who was the sparring partner they've used to prepare him for such a fight? That guy there, against shorter opponents, he looks very tasty. This guy looks very good. He looks very good. So I'm not sure where Dogboe goes from here. He'll need to make some adjustments. And if they didn't realize already, they're going to realize that boxing, they got the world title and they lost the world title. They're going to find out that boxing has very few friends when you're getting beat. People turn their back and they don't want to know you. And the people that genuinely were there for you in the beginning and cared for your career and cared for you, you'll see now how many of those people will come back and be asking you for interviews. How many people are going to come back and want to know about your career and what's going on. Now you're going to find out, you know. But changes need to be made. Changes need to be made. And I don't know professionally what's going to happen. No disrespect to Isaac's dad, but they need some professional help in the corner. They need somebody who has got a pedigree of producing champions, and they need to find a trainer who's able to get the best out of Isaac Dogboe of 5'3". They need to find a trainer who is going to be able to give them a different way of training. Now, his dad did well to get him to the point to become world champion, but now they need to make changes. If indeed he A is going to continue boxing, one, and B, whether he is going to be able to come back from such a beating. It was a bad beating the first time, but this is spirit destroy breaking. This is, you know, round after round after round, getting hit by a jab, getting hit with right hands, getting dropped, getting hurt, getting up, getting beat down. That was a beat down. I mean, in the end, his dad had to save him, because you look at the end of the fight, it was terrible to watch, and you just have to be brutally honest. You need changes, significant changes. And moving up in weight, move up in weight, but you're going to have to make technical adjustments. Quicken your feet, move your head. You just having guns and a big punch is not enough. You need to have skills. Slip inside and stay to the side. Get inside. Yo, Mike, if anything, the old Mike Tyson videos, You know, a short guy against a tall guy. So it's not a case of you being short because you're short, you're not good enough. Is that you need to learn the science of boxing. For me, the science. You have the strength and the power and you know, all that, you know, hard, you know, spirit and toughness and neho. You've got that stuff. That's fine. Now you need to learn the sweet science. Making a man miss, making him pay, slipping to the sides. Bit more finesse in what you do rather than coming straight forward all the time, winging big shots. So that's where my suggestion is. Good fighter, but maybe somewhere along the line, there's been either somebody not listening or somebody not paying attention or not heeding words to wiser people, I suspect. And they need help. And they need a world-class trainer to be able to, and I would suggest a trainer that's got a history of working with lighter fighters and not going to a trainer that that's a trainer's going to be defensively sound. They're going to give them some defense because Dogboe desperately needs defense. Somebody's going to teach him how to move his head and get on the inside, use feints, and use all the tricks in the book for his size. And when he gets up close, because if you broke the fight down, there were moments in the fight, I looked at the fight where Dogboe got himself in position and he was able to throw punches. I would like to see more body work. So, you know, systematically break the guy down. Naverette broke him down in stages. So we're going to work body, body, body. The first 6 to 7 rounds, we're working just significantly just to break the body down. We're not looking to win this fight and punch. We're looking to knock this guy out. We're going to break him down with body shot, body shots, body shots, body shots. Slip and slip, body, 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 body. And for about round 8, then put the gas on and really go for him and try and force a stoppage. You know? So yeah, that would be my advice to Team Dogboe. So a bit harsh, but I think somebody's got to be honest with them and just be honest and speak truth. Dogboe's father did a horrible job. He goes, Dogboe looked much smaller than Naverette, and he's moving up. I know. I don't know if moving up is the answer. I think maybe getting a world-class dietitian on board might be the idea. Yeah, because as I said, you know, you look smaller. You look like I've made a very valid point about Naverette, but yeah, I just think Naverette is a class act. I think he's a class act. I don't think Naverette. I think Naverette is a class act, and he's going to do well. I like his boxing fundamentals. So next up, here we go again. I said it was a painful weekend. Now this one right here. Hurd against Julian Williams. Now people were talking about Charlo. Oh, Charlo got beat by Harrison. Charlo's a bum. People don't know boxing, right? Again, Tony Harrison, another guy from BWTM, was on BWTM, was formerly first trained by Emmanuel Stewart. You can go back and listen to the interview. He was trained by Emmanuel Stewart. And James Elibashir warned us about Tony Harrison, a good boxer. Tony Harrison got knocked out by Hurd, all right? But stars make fights. And Harrison was able to beat Charlo. Charlo was able to knock out Julian Williams. Julian Williams was able to turn around, not only drop Hurd, but give him a comprehensive ass whooping. But that's what he was, a comprehensive ass whooping. People said, oh, Hurd won the fight. It was only a knock. No, he got an ass whooping. He got an ass whooping. And you tell me, another one who likes to fight with his face. Hurd, you're fighting and you're going forward and you're on a guy's chin and you're laying in the guy's, you're laying with your head forward, right? You're there and you're laying forward and the guy are getting whacked with punches. You're getting whacked with punches and you ain't making no adjustments. Just because you're big, and I've said this 1,000 times, just because you're big, it don't mean you're great. You're big. You're big at the weight. But what happens when you got a guy who's a similar size to you? And because you're big, it doesn't mean you're strong. It's just you're big. There's more of you to hit, right? Just because you're big, that doesn't necessarily mean because you're big, you could just lay your weight on somebody and just tie them out because the guy's smaller and you're fine. But Julian Williams was a guy who was able to take the weight, because I think he was a big guy himself, take the weight and actually box. Box by a good jab, slip, uppercuts, and Hurd's always there for it. He's another guy that's got zero defense. You can't keep on relying on just being a big guy that's going to roll forward. Eventually, someone's going to get your number. And this is what happened to Hurd. Now, I said way back that Brook should have vacated his title at welterweight, avoid Errol Spence, move up to 154 and fight Jarrett Hurd. I said that when he had the opportunity to avoid Errol Spence and move up. I would have moved up, fought a 154 and fought Hurd. I think it'd been a good fight. And I think that Brook would have stood a chance in that fight, a good chance in that fight. Well, we'll not know now in that sense, but you cannot, and you're fighting a Philly fighter. You're fighting a Philly fighter like that from the same school as Bernard Hopkins. Them Philly fighters are slick. They're counter punches. They can fight in the pocket. You're going to try and lay your weight. You're not even great in the pocket. You're average in the pocket against a guy like against Williams, who can fight. He's a Philly fighter. No. You don't even do that. You don't even doing that against a Philly fighter who's good at fighting on the inside and holding you one arm and punch you in the other. You do things like that. So you're just going to be lazy and lay on the ropes or lay on them. Just take a breather. Of course, he's going to clip you with uppercuts. That was a beautiful performance there from Julian Williams. Beautiful performance. That was boxing. A boxing porn that was watching Julian Williams. Some of those moves he was moving on the inside, working, using the uppercuts inside. Guys, before that, we were too small or couldn't punch enough to hurt Hurd. So every time Williams was catching Hurd, he was buzzing him. Fantastic boxing with Julian Williams, and congratulations, sir. And a lot of people, when Julian Williams got knocked out by Charlo, they're like, "Oh, Julian Williams is a bum." Them same people now calling Julian Williams a bum. What do you say now? Because Jarrett Hurd, by a lot of people's estimation, was the best light middleweight in the world. Based on what? I'm not understanding how these ratings are based. Are you basing a guy based on what a person's saying and their persona, or are you actually looking at their boxing skills? Boxing skills. Jarrett Hurd is an average boxer. Not great. What makes him great is an average boxer who's a big guy at the weight, who's able to use his weight to close range down and tire guys out. I wouldn't say Jarrett Hurd's a better boxer than Lara, but he's a big guy. And when you punching a big guy, you put your guard up and you're walking forward. And he was getting tagged and buzzed by even Hurd, by Lara. Lara just didn't have enough weight and enough power behind his punches to stop Hurd. But if you watch the fight carefully, Hurd was getting stunned by Lara because he was taking flush shots on his chin. You can't keep fighting with using your face as a defense, stopping shots like a goalkeeper. You can't keep doing that. You've got to have defense for a reason. So if you don't want defense and you want to leave your house open, then fine. Somebody's going to come along, smash and grab. And that's exactly what happened. So he's another guy, Hurd, that needs to be. He's another guy, Hurd, that for me needs to. He needs to go back to the drawing board and literally think about what he's doing. Oh yeah, well, you know what? If he moves up to moves up to middleweight, move up to middleweight, you'll be about really. Who's he beating the middleweight? He not beat Canelo at middleweight. I don't think he beats Golovkin at middleweight. I think that's a good fight for Golovkin. I think Golovkin beats Hurd. Because he's not going anywhere, you see. He'll walk and try and lay on Golovkin. And Golovkin with them uppercuts and hook. No. Them fights are good for Golovkin. I don't even think he beats the big Charlo at middleweight. Nah. So, because when you move to middleweight now, you've got guys who are coming down from light heavy down to fight middle, some of them. So yeah, you move up just because you were bigger. Like the Kell Brook situation. He's a big welterweight. Yeah, he is. And then what happens when he moves to light middleweight? Or he fights a guy who's just as big as him, like Spence. See? It's not just about being big for big's sake. If you're big and you've got skills, now we're talking. Riddick Bowe was a big man, but he had fantastic skills. He had a great jab, could box you from the outside, and he can mix it up and very good on the inside. Beautiful uppercuts on the inside. And he did it against guys like Holyfield. Was able to work brilliantly on the inside and use a jab from the outside. Beautiful jab on the inside. Great work on the inside. So, yeah, there's big. There's big for the weight. That's cool. But then, can you box? Can you fight? And at what level can you fight? So, those are my reviews for those 3 fights. Those are my reviews for 3 fights. If you watch boxing and you watch guys carefully. When they're under pressure, when they're backed up against the ropes, what do? Do they block? Do they block? Do they slip? Or do they just take punches like a goalkeeper? When they're going forward, when they're pushing forward, they put their hands up and they're walking forward. If they see hitting their head doing this, then you know they're going to do that. Just note yourself when they're doing that crap now against lower level opposition. When they move up, it's going to happen. They're going to get knocked out. Like I said, Josh Kelly is an excellent weight to happen. I don't care. He's got Adam Booth in his corner. I don't care. He can have Freddie Roach, Adam Booth, Teddy Atlas, Robert Guerrero, Robert Garcia, James Ali Bashir. It can have all them guys in the corner. He's an excellent waiting to happen because, and mark my words for saying about Josh Kelly, he's an excellent waiting to happen because outside of them trainers, he's still going to go and do that foolishness. He's still going to set the ropes on. That looks, I'm not disrespecting Josh Kelly. I think he's a talent. But when you're doing that stuff against lower level opposition and still getting caught, you know what's coming. One day, and then somebody's really going to dig in one, and then you really see the legs dancing, and it'll have nothing to do with him. He'll be doing it involuntary. Someone else is going to make his legs do a funny dance. When you do this stuff, when you do it against high-level opposition, it's different. When Roy Jones did what he did, at the peak of his powers, when he was doing it against Bernard Hopkins and he was doing it against James Toney, that's different. These are 2 guys that are going to be Hall of Fame great fighters. But when you're doing this showboating stuff with a guy who's got like 12 wins and like 50 losses, really? How much ambition does a guy with 50 losses got? And you're showboating in front of doing all this nonsense. Don't prove anything. Naz, the great thing about Naz, he did that when he was lower, when he's fighting guys that he had no business being in the ring with him. He was taking them out spectacularly. And then even when he moved up in class, he was still taking guys out spectacularly, still doing that stuff. You and him taking guys out spectacularly, and they're not even like people you don't never heard of. People you never heard of, or just people who ain't going to go on to do anything special. And you doing all this stuff, I'm not impressed at all. Do it against someone who we can say, yeah, you know what, that guy will go on to be a Hall of Fame, or that guy's a great fighter, or that guy's dangerous. Do that stuff against Sean Porter, all right? Do that stuff against Manny Pacquiao. Better still, just do it against Danny Garcia. Do all that stuff against Danny Garcia. And let him catch you one of them left hooks and see how much more of this stuff, your shoulder roll-ups, stuff you're doing. We'll see. That's when it matters. And a lot of boxing fans get carried away by, like, he threw about 7 left hooks. Looks great. Looks brilliant on Sky Sports. Oh, Josh Kelly, 7 left. Oh, what a finish. Who was the guy who was doing that against? Who was he doing that against? That's the question I ask you. So, like, if he's doing it against a real top-class guy, we go, wow. What a guy we've got there. Guy can fight. You know, but when you do it against a guy that isn't even ranked in the top 100. Top 30. You get what I'm saying? Right, I'm leaving it there. But you heard, Uncle Ingram said it. Ruben Kenny says, stopping shots like a goalkeeper, LOL Ingram. Dogboe is ready for the trash now, though. Washed up and got big-headed. Male PR is stuck up as well. Ooh, that's a bit harsh. Naz blowed guys out of there. That's my point. Naz was blowing guys out of there. That's why I get very resentful when people say, it's the next Prince Nassim Hamed. Yeah? Well, where's the comparisons? I want to see you blow... Me personally, I've seen enough frauds in my life. Yeah, I've seen enough frauds in boxing. Right? I want to see. That's why you see there's not a lot of people. Like there's certain fights that go on. I don't even watch it. I don't watch it. I say, let me see this guy. I got my eye on this guy. I ain't saying nothing about him. Let me see how he does. Ironically, Josh Kelly's next fight is against Ray Robinson. Now, Ray Robinson told us live on BWTM Sports. He told us how he used to beat up Danny Garcia in sparring. Well, we'll see. Ray Robinson against Josh Kelly. Both guys can talk. So Josh Kelly, Ray Robinson is going to have a lot to say for himself. That's for sure. It's going to be interesting. No point posturing when you're out of range. LOL Kelly shoulder roll when the guy can't even reach him. That's my point. So I don't have a lot of time for this nonsense. You can't. You're not making a fool of me like that. I'm sorry. No. All right, so when I return in the next 10, 15 minutes, we're going to talk about a few other issues. We'll talk about Fury. We'll talk about White. We'll talk about Dubois and Gorman. We'll talk about Thurman and Pacquiao. Yeah, so I'll come back and we'll talk about that. So we'll shorten the video. I'll be back in a moment. Red flags when you're showboating against German. Exactly. So one thing I will say, I will add to this. Tyson Fury did his showboating. He did his showboating against Klitschko. He did his showboating against, Pychek, and Pychek dropped his ass for it. He did his showboating against Cunningham, and he got his ass dropped for it. But he still come back and still doing his showboating against Wilder and Klitschko. He did his showboating against Wilder, and was got his ass knocked out for it. But that's Fury for you. He's going to always do that. But he's doing it against the highest level. I'll be back in a moment, and we'll talk more. I'll see you in a minute. Again, thanks for watching. Where are we now? We're going to come out. We're coming out of here. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, as always. We appreciate you. And, of course, share the videos.